Good morning and welcome to the Roth Living Showroom here in Denver, Colorado. I'm Chef Ben. I'm here to talk to you and show you how to prepare a wonderful Thanksgiving Day side dish, easy to make with fresh spinach and some delicious mushrooms. So it's going to be very easy to prepare. We're going to show you how to walk through the whole thing. So you're going to want to start by getting some dried porcini mushrooms. These are available at most specialty shops or Italian markets. You should be able to find them. What I've done with those mushrooms is I've taken about an ounce of those mushrooms and soaked them in a cup of boiling water. And I've just taken a paper towel and lined this strainer, and I wanted to strain out the liquid through the paper towel so I get all the sediment out of that liquid. Now that liquid is wonderful to save for using in a soup or a stew, or maybe you're going to braise something, make some risotto, something like that. It's wonderful to save that liquid. It has a wonderful deep mushroom flavor that you can use in other applications. We're not going to need it today for making this the baked spinach and with Parmesan and mushrooms, but you can definitely save it. Just put it in your freezer, a clean container. What you might want to do then is once you've gotten them strained, just give them a little bit of a squeeze, get out that extra moisture, so that your mushrooms are nice and soft, ready to go. So we're just going to set that liquid aside. And then what I like to do is take my mushrooms, turn them into the strainer out of the paper towel, and then just give them a quick rinse. Right, so just get rid of that, and I'm just going to rinse them here in a little bit of cold water. This just gets if there was any sediment that's clinging to the mushrooms, gets it off there so you're ready to go. All right. There we have our mushrooms. We'll drain there for a second. So we're going to go ahead and start sautéing those in a skillet here. We've got we're going to add a little bit of unsalted butter and a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. I like to do a little combination there, not only for flavor, but it also keeps the butter from burning too quickly. You want to just melt that down. So what are we going to cook with our porcini? We've just got some Crimini mushrooms. As you see here, we just got the Crimini mushrooms just sliced nice and thin. Those are the brown button mushrooms. If you can't find these, you could just use a standard white mushroom. That'd be fine. Just slice them. I like to wipe them off with a paper towel just to make sure that there's nothing clinging to the outside. And then just slice them up, about an eighth to a quarter of an inch thick, depending on how you'd like your mushrooms to be. So we'll get those slices. We're also going to flavor with some diced shallot and a little bit of minced garlic as well. And that's all to go together to give a lot of flavor to this quickly baked spinach. And this is a wonderful thing to prepare in advance, right? Everybody's going to be making sure that they can get everything done on that day, but you don't have to do this on the same day that you're preparing your Thanksgiving meal. You can certainly do this in advance. You can make it up and not bake it fully, and then on Thanksgiving, you can just bake it on that day. So you get everything assembled, put it in the refrigerator overnight, and then bake it the following day. So that makes it a nice time saver on those busy holidays. Thanksgiving, my favorite holiday, mostly because it's really about the food. We know it's about gathering with family and friends and hopefully spending some time together. But what we all really know, it's about food, right? It's about getting together and enjoying all these wonderful dishes that we love so much. So when that butter foams, you want to add both your mushrooms, both the Crimini and the porcini, to the pan, and just kind of spread it out in a single layer. Now, this is on about a medium to medium-high flame, right? It should be nice and sizzling, right? You should be able to hear it. Now, here's the trick with cooking a mushroom. You want to start out, at this fairly high temperature. And when the mushrooms just begin to start releasing a lot of their moisture and their steam, then you want to turn it down and let them cook slowly, all right? Don't stir them too much when you start here, because if you do, what's going to happen is all that liquid is going to come out of the mushrooms. So instead of having a beautifully sautéed mushroom, which is where you're going to develop all your flavor and all those good things, you're going to end up with a steamed mushroom, and it's going to be sort of limp and soggy and really unpleasant. So make sure you don't stir it too much in the beginning. Just let them cook over that high flame for a minute or two. That's all you need to do. And then you can turn it down and let them cook for a longer period of time, so you really are developing that flavor. So you can see now that they're sizzling nicely, they're really sautéing on a pot. You can really hear them talking to you in the pan. Now is that point when you want to start turning that flame down. And when I say down, I mean way down. On a nice low flame, let it cook slowly. Remember, mushrooms, 80–90% water at least. So if you cook them gently, you're not going to burn anything because all that water is going to prevent that. You can feel the steam on your hands as they're sautéing here. So just let them, but don't move them. Don't be anxious to move them. Certainly develop that color and flavor a little bit later without worrying about it. Just let them cook like that. All right, so we're going to let those go for a minute, and now we're going to come back over here, and we're going to start preparing the spinach for this dish. Now, it's going to be a lot of spinach, but don't get freaked out when you see how much spinach we're actually going to start with in order to make this dish. Now, this dish will feed, 6–8 people easily, so if you're able to have a nice, gathering this Thanksgiving, this will probably feed a good number of people in your family. So if you have a convection steam oven, a Wolf convection steam oven, you can steam your spinach in the oven. It makes life really, really easy. We need 3 pounds of clean spinach. Now you can either buy the mature big spinach and use that. You'll have to just pull off a lot of the stems to get it clean, or you can just buy these boxes of already clean baby spinach. Now each one of these big boxes is a pound, and we're going to need 3 of those. And I know it looks like an enormous amount, but you'll be amazed to see how small it is by the time we get it all cooked. Right? So the nice thing about this too is it's already washed. So we're just taking the first 2 pounds and we're distributing it onto our perforated trays for the convection steam oven. So we've got 2 of those here. And now we're going to take that last pound and we're going to divide it equally between the 2. And don't be afraid, just kind of press it down right on these trays. You kind of cram it on there. Won't hurt it at all. Don't worry about that. Just get it on there so it's kind of evenly distributed onto the tray. So you can see you've got these 2 big trays of spinach ready to go. All right, so we're going to go to the convection steam oven and we're going to show you how to load that. So we're going to open up. We're going to put 1 tray in rack position number 1. We're going to put that second tray, rack position number 3. So it'll fit nicely. You can see it'll fit nicely into the oven. So remember, we're just going to come in. We're going to go to the quick start. We're going to touch the gourmet setting. Vegetables, nice. The very first thing in the vegetable setting is leaf spinach. So just touch enter, cook, and then just let it go. Let it cook. It's going to take about 10 minutes to steam that spinach really, really nicely. But you want to make sure that it gets cooked fully steamed. Now, you're thinking to yourself, what if I don't have a convection steam oven? What am I going to do about cooking the spinach? Not a problem. Get a large pot. And I say it's the largest soup kettle you've got. You have a big Dutch oven, that'll work fine as well. You're going to take the spinach, you're going to rinse it with a little bit of cold water, just enough so it clings to the leaves. Then pile all that spinach into that large pot with just the water that's clinging to the leaves. Put it on a good, strong flame on your stove and just cook it until it wilts. It's going to just gently wilt because that water that's clinging to the spinach leaf is going to wilt down the spinach. That's all you need to do. Just let it wilt. You don't need to season it. You don't need to do anything else. Just let it wilt and it's going to be fine. If you don't have the steam oven, then just do it that way. Just a big pot, rinse the spinach into a pot and just let it wilt down with the natural water that's clinging to the spinach leaves. All right? So that's the best way to get your spinach ready to go. Other ingredients are very simple to assemble. For the spinach, we've got some Parmesan cheese, some whole eggs, a little bit of heavy cream, salt and black pepper, and then last we're going to add a little bit of nutmeg to that just to give a little extra flavor to the spinach. So, all right, so let's come back over and have a peek at our mushrooms as they're cooking here. And you can see they're starting to shrink down a little bit. They're starting to get a little bit smaller, but they smell really good. But you can just see that they're just sitting and just nice sizzle on a low flame. No problem with burning or sticking. You're still not getting any color really on the bottoms. The The mushrooms not too widespread, so you want to just keep letting them cook. You really can't cook them too much. You just want to make sure that you're developing as much of that flavor as you possibly can. So we're just going to let those cook. Yeah, they'll take anywhere between 8 and maybe 10 to 12 minutes to get them fully wilted, so you're really developing that flavor. And then we'll add our other ingredients to bump that flavor up a little bit. So we're going to let those cook while the spinach is going. All right, so our spinach is completely steamed beautifully in our wood convection steam oven, nicely wilted. We're just going to take the spinach and turn it out onto this clean kitchen towel. Preferably you want a towel that's not terry cloth, so there's no little fibers that can come off in the spinach. But you definitely want to find a nice clean kitchen towel. The large one is even better. So those French terry cloth or the French linen towels work really nicely for this. We've got all of our spinach. You can see how much smaller it is already just after that cooking process. So we put it onto our towel. We're going to take the towel and wrap it up tightly. We're going to go over the sink here. We're just going to squeeze out all that extra water. Now it's a little hot right now still, but you let it cool for a little while. That's not going to be a problem. But you definitely want to squeeze as much of the water out of the spinach as you possibly can. So keep tightening the top of that towel, right? So you're seeing the water being forced out through the spinach. Don't worry if you have one of these linen French towels, it won't tear unless you have a hole in it already, but just let it squeeze out all that excess moisture. And then you can just set it where it can drain a little bit. Your sink on a rag or over a bowl or something like that, but you definitely want to get as much of that water, so keep going back and just giving it a little bit of a squeeze time to time as it cools. While that's draining, we're going to finish up our mushrooms because they've had a chance to cook nicely while the spinach was steaming. So you can see they're kind of on a nice low flame. The mushrooms have shrunk down a little bit. Now it's time to add some flavor. So the first thing you're going to want to do is turn that heat up to about medium high. Right? You're going to start seeing that sizzle come back, right? Then you're going to add your cloves of garlic that are finely minced. And you're going to add your minced shallot. Now you can stir, right? You're going to see why. You're going to give this a stir. You're starting to see some nice caramelization on the side of the mushroom. So just give it a stir so everything is coated nicely with those aromatic items around your mushrooms. And it's going to start to smell really good in your kitchen. This is a great way to saute mushrooms so that you always get actually cooked mushroom that's not mushy but has a really beautiful exterior. So you can just see some of the color that we're developing from the mushroom. So now on that high heat, just going to get the rest of that moisture to kind of evaporate off of the mushrooms. Let's give it a little bit of seasoning, a little bit of kosher salt, and a little bit of black pepper in there. All you need, you don't need much more than that to give it great flavor. Really accentuate not only the spinach, but also that wonderful Parmesan Reggiano in there, so a good Italian cheese in there give us a lot of flavor, a simple dish. But it will look really nicely with all your Thanksgiving preparations. Okay, so we've got that going. Grab a couple of bowls back here while we're waiting for those mushrooms to finish and the spinach to just drain a little bit. We're going to start the preparation for the custard for our baked spinach. So best way to get it, you're going to start with a couple of large eggs. And so just that together. A couple of eggs. And some heavy cream. Just give that a quick whisk, just to blend that. All the while our mushrooms are sautéing nicely next to us. Got our heavy cream, Parmesan cheese, grated, about a cup. And then we've got our freshly grated nutmeg, half a teaspoon. Nutmeg pairs beautifully with spinach. Just make sure a good amount of salt and black pepper. Black pepper, really nice. Long. Let's have a peek now. Our mushrooms are just about done, so let's just have a look how nice these look. And we're just starting to smell the garlic. Beautiful. Great, so let's come back over here. And into a large bowl go the entire contents of our sauté pan. Finish up our custard here really quickly. We've now got our custard made, we've got the mushrooms ready to go. All we have to do is finish with the spinach. Right? It's been draining here in the sink for just a moment or two. Give it one final squeeze just to get as much of that moisture out as you possibly can. Now, a lot of you are probably thinking to yourself, why don't I just use frozen spinach? That work just fine. You could. I'm a little snobby about spinach when it comes to that. I don't think it tastes as good as fresh spinach when you steam it like this. So, again, if you wanted to substitute frozen spinach, I guess that'll be fine. I wouldn't, but that's certainly up to you. So now you can see how little spinach we have actually left. Big, all those two things that you saw earlier. And here's what we have remaining. Right? It's just that clump of sautéed seeds. So all we're going to do is take a chef's knife. We're just going to run it through. We're going to be really care about if we get everything exactly equal. We're just going to break it up just a little bit. That's all you need to do is run one direction and then one second direction. All that goes in with our mushrooms. Spinach in the mushrooms. Great. Spinach, mushrooms, shallots, garlic. What can be wrong with all those flavors that we've got? All that goes in. Now we're just going to take our custard that we blended together. We're going to pour that over. Just make sure all that good Parmesan cheese that we have all the flavors that you're going to bring together. And just fold it together. Give it a stir so you've got everything nicely combined here. So you can see what that will look like. You're all probably saying, well, it doesn't look that much, but it's pretty rich, obviously, all that heavy cream and the eggs and all that flavor that you got from mushrooms, shallots, and garlic, and all that stuff combined in there. Big, nice 9x13 casserole dish, lightly buttered. Just going to pour this into the dish. So at this point, right, you can literally make it to this point and then refrigerate it until you're ready to bake it for the final bake. Right? So you can obviously make this the day prior to Thanksgiving, have it set in your refrigerator so that when you're ready to finish it off. Maybe your turkey is resting on the counter. You can roast it nicely. You need the oven space for that, but you want to still bake this off. You can do this the next on Thanksgiving Day after you let this sit in your refrigerator overnight. So now it's ready to go. I always like a little extra Parmesan cheese. Just sprinkle a little on the top. Just give it just a little bit. You know you've got lots in the custard itself, but a little extra, it's never going to hurt, right? Everybody loves Parmesan. You're not going to be on that. All right, so now baking this really easy. If you have the convection steam oven, what I recommend that you use is the convection humid mode, 330 to 350 degrees. Anywhere in that range is going to be fine. It's going to bake for about a half an hour. You go into a cold oven. If you don't have a Wolf convection steam oven, or you have just not just, but a Wolf M or E series or a dual fuel oven, bake mode, 350 degrees, rack position number 3. Right? Don't put it too low in the oven, but rack position number 3. Let it bake for anywhere from 30 to 35 minutes, just until the top is a nice golden brown. So we're going to use the convection steam oven, pop that in on the convection humid mode, and go to 330 degrees. So I've got the rack in position number 1. In goes my baking dish. So again, quick start, go to convection humid. And we're going to go to 330, bake it for 30 minutes in integration. Obviously, you can always extend that when you get to the end. You need to give it a little more time if it's not quite the color that you like. So now we're off and baking. Once that's done, I'll bring it up and have a look at it. So now it's been in the convection steam oven baking really nicely. The kitchen smells fantastic. It smells the cheese and the garlic and the wonderful aroma of the mushrooms wafting out. So let's just have a look at what we've got. Bit of extra steam there. We pull this out. So from over here, let's look at this. So beautiful baked spinach. You want to let it rest on your counter for 5 minutes or so before you break into it. Just allow everything to settle down, much like you put the lasagna. You can just see how quick and easy this is to repair, not only in the convection steam oven, but you can also use the E-series oven. So again, I wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving. I hope you have a joyful time with your close family this very crazy year. So thanks so much, and appreciate your joining us.